Hello and welcome back to Speed Demon Painting. In today's video we'll be taking a look at how you can start with the Dystopian Wars 4th edition in case you're unsure what you can get from the older sets, what is new and what has become obsolete. And we're also taking a closer look at the Gubbins set that was released for this edition by Warcradle Studios. For full disclosure, Warcradle Studios did send me two of these Gubbins sets because as a war host I quite often organize demos around the country, and yeah, they are definitely put to good use and have been put to good use at the Crisis event that happened last weekend here in Belgium. Now, the question I often see popping up are people asking, do I still need one of the older starter sets? Can I just buy anything? What is a good starting point? And the answer is you can get anything you want because the Gubbins set will have you covered. You will not need to get a starter set from the previous edition. So if you are unsure what to get, you cannot go wrong with this box, and we'll see just now. Let's crack it open and have a look inside. So this is the big box, the Dystopian Wars Rules and Gubbins box set, which normally comes shrink wrapped of course, but I've taken it off ahead of the review. When we open it up, we can see that it's one of the classic medium-sized boxes from Warcradle Studios, and of course you're greeted with the pamphlet first, which is an introduction to the dystopian age. Inside of the box we find both the critical action dice, of which you'll get 6, and some regular action dice, of which you'll get 20. There is of course the shrink-wrapped Victory and Valor deck, which is now used in this new edition instead of the old deck, and there is the full new coloured rulebook. This one is quite a bit thicker compared to the old version, so there's a lot more in it. Also cool to see, if we have a quick flick through it, there's a lot more art and pictures of the models in there compared to the previous book, which isn't really a surprise because when 3rd edition launched, that's when Warcradle Studios took over and there weren't that many models yet released by them. But by now Dystopian Wars is a very fleshed out game, so there's quite a lot of art and cool miniatures in there. It does lead to about 150 pages of rules, but it is a very light reading because of all these images. You're also getting some tokens, or you get one sheet of the Dystopian Age token set, which is the same one that is being used in Armored Clash, but there's also a unique one just for Dystopian Wars to get you started. The first one being a quadrant, which is the new sort of discipline or panic tokens, as they are sometimes referred to. Then there are also different tokens for critical effects, because those can now stack in this new edition, so you don't have to leave all of those dice behind on your models. You can just face them up with the flat edge. For the damage trackers it only goes to 3, but that's because once a model has lost all of its hull points you can just put a cripple marker next to it, and that's when it starts taking the critical damage. You also get a minefield marker and some flotsam, because some of them can be blown up and leave some wreckage behind. Now when it comes to the different measurement tools and objective markers, this is the same plastic set that is being used in Armored Clash. It doesn't have the big blast template on there anymore, but it still has the same turn template, and all of that space from the old blast template is now being used for cooler stuff, such as objective markers to help you in your game as well. In addition, there is now a sort of a backside to all the different measuring tools, so you can make some very cool long range measurement tools should you so desire. In addition, you're getting some extra sprues that now hold all the different SRS tokens for all the different nations, but as you can see it's sort of divvied up into different quarters, and you get not just one but 2 of those different sprues. And the reason why they are laid out like this is because I can imagine that production can just take him and snip them off like this, break them up into their different quadrants, and then add the appropriate quarter to every single box. For instance, this one has the Enlightened on there and the Empire, and you can see that the SRS tokens match up the sort of back end for the heavy gun batteries that match the SRS tokens. So you get the power packs for the Enlightened, and you get the sort of the pagodas for the Chinese. You also get the different generators on there, and if you want to make more neutral gun batteries, there is always a generic variant that you can glue to the back of them so they can fit any of your forces really. This basically frees up a lot of space on all of the different frontline sprues, which means that those are going to be redesigned over time as well. This doesn't necessarily mean that all of your old weapons are obsolete, but it does mean that if you've got an older box of Dystopian Wars model or another older fleet, you can use these gun batteries to sort of bring them in line with what the new look will be for the different weapons. And as you can see, we have all the different ones from the Sultanate here as well, and the Crown, which looks slightly different before. And before you ask, the revolver look from the American Union is still there, so you can still use your old revolver look gun batteries if you want to. But yeah, there's a cool new option here. And a final note for the magnetization enthusiasts, they've gone for the hollow pegs like the latest sprues always have. These are very easy to cut flush with the surface of the bottom rather of the turret. You just have to drill them out a bit, which is very easy to be on center, and just plop your magnets in those. And then finally, the thing that is new in this edition is the Victory and Valor deck, which has been completely redesigned. It has a much more cooler, fully colored in backside compared to the old Victory and Valor deck, which had a more muted, it's not quite black and white, but more monotone look to it. I really like how fancy these look. The values go from 1 to 12, which is why you can't use the old ones. And as you can see, the text for the Victory and the Valor are the same way. So that I think they're a bit easier to read. But if you have different preferences, they might make custom versions of those in the future as well. You get 54 now, but if you have an old Victory and Valor deck and you sleeve them up like I did, you can still get the download online of the new Victory and Valor cards and just put them in that sleeve as well, so you can get started using this method. So, now that we know what is inside, we can answer, do I need an older starter set or is it still a worthy purchase? The long answer is, the new tokens are updated, but you can find them as free downloads if you want to online, so you can cut them out on a piece of paper. It won't quite be as fancy as the ones you just saw, but you know, it'll get you by. If you want to get more dice, you can actually get them online as well via Wayland Games or through your friendly local gaming store if you want to support them, and I always suggest that you do. If you get an older starter set, your Victory and Valor deck will not be the one used in this current edition. You can get them separately as well through the channels I just mentioned, or you can download them online as well. If you sleeve up your cards like you saw me doing, you'll be good too. And like I said, the templates, they're the same as Armored Clash, so you can get them via that system as well, but they are included in the Gubbins set, and if you got an older set, your turn template and the measurement tools, those are still viable. It's just the blast template that is now a thing of the past. And in case you were unfamiliar, the rulebook is always available as a PDF. Same goes for the Orders of Battle, which is the equivalent of codexes in other game systems. They're also available as PDFs. You can spend your money on cool toys, you don't have to spend your money on expensive books right out of the gate. So all of the old models are good to go. I would say one thing, if you've got the 2-player starter sets from the past, the Fortune and Glory one really is aimed at aerial and or airborne units, and so that's probably not the best starting point. I would focus on boxes with a healthy amount of surface units in there, because those are more critical now to play the game, as those are your scoring units. Your rulebook will be good for the fluff, but is otherwise out of date, and yeah, dice, movement trays and everything, some parts of it still usable, so you shouldn't feel like you're getting a raw deal if you get the older boxes. Quite the contrary, they're quite good value for money when it comes to the amount of models that you get in them. And that's basically the good news. Every other Battlefleet box is basically still good to go. The Gubbins set has you covered in case you're unsure. The rule of cool is still very much in effect. There are several price points in this game that you can enter in. You can get very big boxes like the Vauban Battlefleet set depicted here, but there are also much smaller options with other flagships, so just pick the one you like the look of and you can get going. Now over time, every faction will get a new 1-player starter set. The first one that was announced, and I'll be taking a look at in the future as well, is the Crown starter set. So if you're interested in seeing what's inside of that one, definitely subscribe to the channel for that future video. Once all of those 1-player starter sets are basically released, then the Gubbins set will be phased out as no longer being necessary, because from that point onward, the 1-player starter set will be your best entry point in the game regardless of what you want to get. So, there we go. I hope this video has been helpful to you. If it was, remember to give it a thumbs up. That always helps with the YouTube algorithm to help other people find this video. And I hope to see you in the next one. Until then, bye.